Welcome to our weekly peace practice. It's so important to set aside time every day, if you can, but at least on a regular basis, to intentionally practice peace because peace is really important for our health. And as we cultivate peace within ourselves, we radiate that peace out to the people around us, to our family, to our friends, to our community. And there's so much not peace that we're being exposed to on a regular basis that it's important to take that time to set aside and remind ourselves how to cultivate peace internally. So, before we get started, as always, I'm going to invite you to begin to take some time to turn your attention inward. Bring your attention to your body, your mind, and your emotions. What's going on for you right now? What has happened today that you're still carrying that is safe for you to release? Are you carrying tension in your shoulders? Are you carrying memories of a difficult conversation or interaction with someone? Are you carrying tension in your stomach? That's a common place for me to hold it. I get an upset tummy. Or maybe you're holding tension in your head, in your facial muscles, feeling a headache. But just take a moment to tune into yourself and how you're feeling. And I would invite you, if you'd liked, to rate your peacefulness right now on a scale of 0 to 10. I like to say 0 is just as zen as a wet noodle, just as relaxed as you could possibly be. And a 10 is at the other end of the scale, just as tense and unpeaceful as you ever find yourself. And give that a number. It's a nice way to see for yourself how 30 minutes of intentional peace practice can change how you're feeling. So remember that number. We will come back to it later. And now, as you're bringing your attention into your body, begin to watch your breath as it flows in and out of your lungs. As you inhale, feel your lungs fill deeply, so deeply that your diaphragm moves down, and if you have your hand on your belly, you can feel it rise as your lungs inflate. And then watch the air as it flows out of your lungs and allow your lungs to empty completely as your navel sinks back towards your spine. Let's just take a few inhales and exhales. Breathing in deeply and exhaling completely. A few more. And already you may feel your energy start to shift because long, slow inhales and exhales are one of the most effective ways that we can let our central nervous system know that it's okay to calm down, to let go of that fight or flight reaction, and all of the biochemical reactions that happen in our body when we slip into fight or flight. Fight or flight is a good thing. It's a survival mechanism. It's part of what helps us react quickly when we are threatened. But too often, our brain and our body can react with fight or flight when we're not really in danger. Running late for an appointment, having too many things on your to-do list, feeling overwhelmed by current events. These things can be scary, they can be bothersome, and they can send us into fight or flight, but our lives really aren't in danger. And the chemicals that are released in our body during fight or flight, those can accumulate. And when we don't disperse them appropriately, they can lead to disease in our body. So just a few moments of deep inhaling and exhaling can have a profound impact on our stress level. It's free. There's no side effects. And you can do it anywhere, anytime. And nobody knows what you're doing. Just bringing yourself in to your state of peace. So I'm going to lead you through some activities, some practices from energy medicine. There are many forms of energy medicine: Tai Chi, Qigong, acupressure, acupuncture. I'm training healing touch. There's therapeutic touch. There's Reiki. A lot of people have heard of Reiki. And these are techniques that you can go to a practitioner and have them do for you, which is always really helpful, because when our energy is depleted, having someone else help us restore our energy flow can be a really helpful thing. But you can use these techniques on yourself as well. And like I said earlier about deep breathing, they're free. There's no side effects. And some of them you can do anywhere, anytime. We're going to start with a technique that comes from Donna Eden's daily energy routine. You can look that up if you're interested. It's a series of movements that, if practiced every day, even better twice a day, you can use to help regulate your energy. Then we're going to start with what Donna calls the 4 thumps, which is the first exercise in her daily energy routine. And we're going to begin by using our fingertips to thump on our cheekbones. You're tapping on the bone below your eye. Continue to inhale and exhale deeply while you're doing this. This is really good for grounding. Now, you may have heard of grounding. What exactly does that mean? Well, a building like your home is grounded. The electrical system in a building is grounded. There's a wire that goes from the electrical system out into the ground near your home. That's why it's called a grounding wire. And it's there to dissipate excess energy that could build up in that electrical system. It's a way for that energy to safely be expelled, and therefore bring the electrical system in your home into the appropriate state. When grounding for us is very similar. One of the best ways to ground is to go for a barefoot walk on grass or sand at the beach. We're meant to be in contact with the earth. The negative ions from the surface of the earth help to dissipate free radicals in our system. But in modern daily times, we are not in touch with the earth very much. We're in buildings, or we're walking on concrete, or when we do go out and walk on grass, we're wearing shoes that have insulating rubber heels. But when we ground ourselves, it's a way of bringing equilibrium to our energy system because we have an energy system within our body. All right, the next points that we're going to thump on is called K27. And if you feel where your collarbone is and then just kind of drop down below that between the collarbone and your first rib, you can feel a little divot, a little notch in there. I'm going to tap on that. And while we're doing this, we're going to continue with our long, slow inhales and exhales. This point is called K27 because it is point number 27 on the kidney meridian. And when we tap on it, it can help to improve our breathing, which I know right now a lot of people are dealing with breathing issues because it's springtime and there's a lot of pollen and a lot of people have allergies. So this can help with your breathing. It can help reduce fatigue. It's also good if you have tension in your neck and shoulders. That's another place I carry tension. I carry it in my stomach and my neck and shoulders. So thumping on K27 can help to relieve that. All right, the third thump that we're going to do is right in the middle of our chest, over our sternum. This is over the thymus gland. I'm going to wake it up. This helps to boost our immunity. It can also help to increase our energy level and reduce our stress, especially now that we're pairing it with deep breathing. Continue with your deep breathing. Now the fourth area that we're going to thump is on the side of the body, on the side of the rib cage. This is a little awkward to thump on. I'm using my knuckles. And this area is where the spleen meridian runs. And as we thump on that, it helps us with our metabolism. And we don't just metabolize food, we also metabolize emotions. So it can help with that. And it helps our immune system. And our immune system may be overtaxed if, like I mentioned earlier, you're dealing with springtime allergies. So tapping on the spleen meridian and continuing to breathe deeply and completely. Take a deep breath. Let's just pause for a moment and bring your attention to how you're feeling right now. Has anything shifted in your body? What are you noticing? For me, I feel more alert. I feel a little more awake. I feel like things have sped up for me inside a little bit in a good way. All right, the next technique that we're going to do, I call it tracing infinity. If you think about an infinity sign, it looks like a figure eight on its side. And what we're going to do, we're going to take two fingers, start in the middle of your forehead or between your eyebrows. And we're going to use these fingers to trace around one eye, come back to the starting point, and trace around the other eye. Now, as you do this, you can let your fingers be in contact with your skin if you would like. I'm doing it a little bit above my face because I have glasses on, and it works just as well. Remember to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Now, what I like to call tracing infinity, it's also called the figure eight technique. It's used in Tai Chi and Qigong, which are other energy medicine modalities. I'm getting really relaxed. And as we do this, this can help with fatigue around our eyes. It can also balance the energy flowing between the hemispheres of the brain. I find it very relaxing. And on more than one occasion, I have used it when I'm having difficulty falling asleep. Sometimes when it's hard falling asleep, it's because we have a lot of racing thoughts zooming around inside our skull. And tracing infinity around my eyes can kind of help that to just settle down. Remember to breathe. Tracing around. Now let's continue to trace infinity, but we're just going to change where we're doing it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have kind of that crossing over point in the middle of the figure eight be the base of our neck. And we're going to trace a figure eight up and around our head. And come back to the starting point and go down and around our heart. You know, there's a lot of communication that goes on in our body between our head and our heart. And when that communication transmission line is open and flowing, it can help us not be so head reactive, but be more heart responsive. And you may find it interesting that when scientists look at the communication between the head and the heart, the majority of those transmissions begins in the heart. Our heart is often directing our brain. And we tend to think it's the other way around. We tend to value intellect and logic And there's a lot to be said for heart-focused decision making. Remember to continue to breathe. And as we do this exercise, you might want to play with imagining that as you breathe in, the air is flowing in to your heart and out from your heart. This is called heart-focused breathing. It's something that is taught by the Heart Math Institute to help us become more settled and regulated and bring the systems of our body into coherence. Another interesting fact about the head and the heart, the electromagnetic field of our heart is 5,000 times stronger than the electromagnetic field of the brain. And I believe that one key to intentional peace and a happier life is to remember that our head functions better when it's in contact and connection and communication with our heart. Our head and our heart each have an electrical amplitude. And when scientists measure that, the amplitude of the heart is 60 times greater than the amplitude of the brain. Continuing to breathe in and breathe out. And coming back to the starting point. And again, I would invite you to pause and tune into how you're feeling. One more exercise that we're going to do this evening. It's called the pretzel technique. And we're going to start by taking your left ankle and crossing it over your right ankle. And then put your hands out in front of you and cross your right arm over your left arm and intertwine your fingers. And then pull your hands up and just allow them to rest against your heart. This is also good for balancing the energies between left side and right side. And sometimes they can get a little scrambled or a little asymmetrical. This brings us back into that symmetry. And let's take a few breaths where we inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, sigh it out. Again. A few more times. Inhale. In. And just breathe normally for a moment. And as you tune in to how you're feeling now, rate your peacefulness back to that scale of 0 to 10. How would you rate your peacefulness now? And let's spend a moment imagining this peacefulness radiating out from each of us creating an ocean of peacefulness. As the peacefulness that you've cultivated within yourself expands and connects with the peaceful energy of others watching, either live or the replay, because time is relative. And imagine your energy, your peace, not that it's leaving you, but that it's just growing so large that it's connecting with others. And together, we're creating an ocean of peace. And see that ocean of peace spilling over out to other people who could really use some peace in their lives. And remember that if tomorrow or the next day or any time in the future, you yourself need to call on that ocean of peace, it is there for you as well. Real quick before we close, I thought we'd draw a card to kind of set an intention for the week ahead. And I'm going to draw a card from this deck. It's called Power Thought Cards by Louise Hay. It's a 64 card deck. It's a lovely deck if you want to have something like this at home. Or you can draw a card every morning and set your intention for the day. But I'm going to set the intention right now that I'm going to find a card that has meaning for all of us, something to carry us through the week until we get together again. And if you've found our time together helpful, I would just remind you that this video will be available on my YouTube channel, Intend Well with Carolyn Pitts. So you can watch it anytime and take 30 minutes for yourself to feel peaceful. This is a lovely card. I deserve the best, and I accept the best now. And there's a message on the back. I am mentally and emotionally equipped to enjoy a prosperous and loving life. It is my birthright to deserve all good. I claim my good. What a beautiful message. You know, sometimes we think we don't always deserve the best. Maybe, I don't know, I was kind of raised in a household where I've realized I feel like I have to earn it. And maybe you feel that way too. Or struggle to measure up. But it's not a contest. It's not a competition. And there is no measuring stick. We all, like it says here, it's your birthright to deserve good. Just by being here, you are worthy and you deserve the best, and you should claim that for yourself. Now, carry that thought with you this week. Thank you again for joining me. I'll just leave you with my book, 8 Intentions for Self-Healing, has some of the techniques that we practiced this evening in it. This book is very highly based on energy medicine techniques, but it also has intention and lifestyle medicine woven into it as well. Take care. I love you. Intend peace, intend love, intend well.